Can you imagine an entire landscape stretching across dozens of hectares being ripped apart in a single afternoon by animals that weigh nearly a ton? It sounds unreal, but it's a problem many communities deal with regularly. Across southern and eastern Africa, Cape buffalo populations have exploded, creating serious challenges for farmers, ecosystems, and even local residents who live near these animals.
Many African countries.
In places like Tanzania, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, recent wildlife surveys show that Cape buffalo numbers have surged dramatically over the past few decades. As these massive herds expand, the pressure on native vegetation grows heavier each year. They tear through grasslands, clog water sources, churn up soil, and outcompete smaller grazing species that are already struggling to survive. As natural food sources disappear, Cape buffalo begin drifting toward farmland, pushing rural communities to adapt however they can. In the open plains of Zimbabwe, where buffalo numbers are among the highest in the region, the pressure is especially intense. At sunrise, farmers often spot entire herds moving steadily toward their fresh pasture. Through the haze of early morning, the thunder of their hooves cuts deep, winding tracks into the soil. By the time night falls, entire fields can be destroyed, leaving families with crippling losses. In some cases, massive herds even block livestock pathways, preventing cattle from reaching grazing areas or vital water sources. To deal with this escalating situation, hunters and wildlife management teams have had to implement a range of population control strategies. One of the most common tools is regulated hunting, carried out only during approved seasons. These operations typically take place early in the morning or late in the afternoon, when visibility is better and buffalo herds move into more open ground to feed, giving wildlife officers their best chance to manage the numbers safely and effectively. These hunts demand precise coordination between local trackers and professional hunters. Cape buffalo are among the most dangerous animals on the continent, capable of weighing nearly 900 kilograms and charging at speeds up to 55 kilometers per hour. When injured, they become even more unpredictable, often doubling back with enough raw power to flip a light off-road vehicle. One wrong move can turn a routine hunt into a life or death situation. Because of that risk, hunters go through strict training to master safe shooting distances, quiet approach techniques, and split-second decision-making. Their thick hide and heavy bone structure mean only large-caliber rifles can do the job effectively. Popular choices include the .375H and H Magnum, .416 Rigby, and .458 Lot, each delivering enormous stopping power. Every trigger pull sends out more than 130 decibels of sound, loud enough to damage hearing without protection. Out on the open savanna, the rifle's echo can roll across the hills for kilometers, adding to the intensity and high-stakes energy of the hunt. Long-range binoculars are just as important as the rifles themselves. Much of the African terrain is wide open, with only scattered vegetation, so spotting herds from a distance is critical. Guides often climb nearby ridges or set up temporary lookout platforms to scan the landscape. Once they pinpoint a herd and determine its direction of travel, the team begins a slow, silent approach, keeping enough distance to avoid spooking the buffalo before the right moment. Most regulated buffalo hunts are scheduled during the dry season, when the grass is shorter and visibility is at its best. Depending on wildlife surveys and the health of local ecosystems, some countries allow anywhere from 40 to 200 buffalo to be taken each season. The permit fees, often ranging from $15,000 to $18,000 per animal, are funneled back into conservation work, new fencing projects, and community programs that help locals coexist with wildlife more safely and sustainably. Still, the use of firearms in buffalo population control remains a point of controversy. Some environmental specialists argue that constant gunfire and discarded shell casings can disrupt local ecosystems. On the other hand, many conservation groups maintain that regulated hunting is a necessary tool, one that protects natural resources, prevents habitat degradation, and shields nearby communities from major economic losses. To keep buffalo numbers in check, several governments rely on helicopter surveys and camera traps to track population trends. These tools provide valuable data on herd size, migration routes, and overall environmental impact. When officials detect a sudden spike in numbers, they adjust hunting quotas or authorize additional control measures to keep the ecosystem in balance. After every hunt, wildlife officials submit detailed reports noting exactly how many animals were taken, along with their age, sex, and overall health. These records help ensure that decisions are grounded in science and that the ecosystem stays in balance. In the end, it's not just about hunting. It's a coordinated effort that brings together biology, field experience, and community support. Cape buffalo have long stood as symbols of Africa's rugged, untamed wilderness. But when their numbers rise beyond what the land can sustain, people are forced to step in and restore balance between wildlife and everyday life. Hunters, farmers, and conservation teams continue working side by side to protect this iconic species while keeping populations at levels the environment can handle. What do you think is the best approach to managing the fast-growing Cape buffalo population while still protecting the ecosystem? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your perspective. And if you enjoy real-world wildlife management stories and high-adrenaline hunting content, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.